Hey everyone, Daniel from growyourmusicstudio.com. In this video, we're going to talk about what we always talk about, which is studio growth, retention, how to build a business and life that is really fun, stress-free, and a business that's worth having. A few announcements. The first one being that I have a series of blog posts and a brand new ebook that are going to be coming out over the next few months. And it's going to be centered around some topics that are really coming to the fore, some topics that are really coming to the front in work that I'm doing with coaching clients that I work with. And over the past year, as more and more people have come to me, themes have started to appear. Thoughts have come from clients that have changed how I think and have changed what I realize is important to you. I am taking the blog in a slightly different direction than I had even planned at the beginning of this year. And I teased this about a month ago in July in a video that I did about Facebook ads. And that is that a lot of people feel overwhelmed and they're just not even sure how to start. And I'm not just talking people who are starting out. I'm talking teachers and even music school owners who've been in business for 10, 20 years. They're not sure what their first step should be if they really want rapid, powerful, expansive studio growth. And so my topic, my message to you over the next 3, 6, 9 months is really, what is the one action? What is the one thing that can give you tons of leverage? It's not, hey, here are the 18 things you should be doing. Not, here's the 100 things you should be doing. Not, hey, you need to do direct mail and you need to do this and that and you need 18 social accounts. What is the one point of action? What's the one leverage point that you have for growth and for getting control over the quality of your studio, getting control over your career? What is that? So that's the topic around which all of this is going to center. Now, this leads me to the second thing I wanted to tell you in this video. It wasn't in my master plan. It's just, it came up as a result of work that I was doing. And that is my summer project, which is really wrapping up now and coming into the fall. And I'm going to be doing a series of videos on this. And here's what it was. I decided I was going to start a brand new studio from scratch. And the reason I wanted to do this was to show you just what I would do if I was starting out. And so what I did was a couple things. First off, I went to Indeed.com and I put up, just on a whim, in early June, I put up a job posting for music teachers. The second thing I did, and I'm going to follow up on that in just a second. The second thing I did was I began to look for an office manager. Even though I technically don't need one to run my studio, between the blog, between my studio, and between this new thing I'm going to be doing, I thought I'm going to need administrative support. But that also is important. I'm going to come back to that in just a second as well. And then what I began to do was change the messaging that I am putting out in terms of when people contact me, when families contact me to begin lessons or adult students contact me, I began to change how I message what I do to allow for this change in direction. Okay, so those are the three things. Let's take them one by one. The first thing, I put out a request for teachers to send in resumes to me. Over the course of about 6 weeks, I got about 12. Half of them I rejected outright just from the beginning because I could clearly see it wasn't going to be a great fit. Rejected those immediately. Of those remaining 6, I had a few phone conversations, realized that some people just weren't interested in what I had going on. Some people were a good fit. And of those 3 people that seemed like a good fit, I did follow up with them and have begun working with 2 of them. So that was the first step. This was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I simply posted a job description on Indeed.com. I didn't put more than 10 minutes of work into it. I did not overthink this. I didn't worry too much about it. I just put out there the basic thesis of what this studio was going to be like and said, if you want to join this, if you want to get on board this vision, simply contact me. And out of that, I got a dozen or just over a dozen requests. Totally surprised that this happened. What's the thesis of the studio? The thesis of the studio is this. I teach in my home studio. I obviously don't have room to be working with, or to have other teachers working out of this studio. And so my thought was, since I started my career when I was living with my parents right after college and trying to build up enough students so that I could move out and get my own place, I started my career as a traveling teacher, and I made this work for several years until I had enough students to leave. It was just under 2 years. There's no reason why I couldn't do this again. I have such experience doing it that I thought I could just start a traveling studio. I won't need studio space, so I won't have overhead. This will all be virtual. This will be within really just the mind space. It's going to be all conceptual. This will literally be a network of relationships that center around me, the teacher, and the family. And there need be no other complication other than that. So I described this in that job description and was very upfront about this when I had kind of a first phone call, first interview with someone. Just said, are you okay traveling? Do you understand this is how it's going to be like? Are you okay going into someone's house that you've never met before? And really just being upfront and honest and making sure that everyone was on board with that vision. From there, I got 3 really serious candidates, of which I met with 2 in person and had a conversation, went even deeper into detail, and showed them basically a contract that we would sign and agree to together. From there, there's really only one other thing I had to do, and that was change the message that was coming to me from outside, or I'm sorry, change the message that I was delivering to people that were contacting me from the outside. And I went from talking about only myself, I essentially just changed my pronouns from me to us. My own personal enrollment might be going down, but I'm actually going to be filling up the enrollment and the roster of these teachers who are now working for me. So that's the big thought. Here's what I want you to take from this. And here's what you could potentially take from this. It is actually much easier to start a new program or a new studio than I think most people give credit for. That is really what's come to me through this whole process. I've probably invested over the last 2 months less than 10 hours of time thinking, meeting, having phone calls with people, even meeting in person. I've invested probably less than 10 hours over 2 months. And going into the month of September, we are starting out with 5 students, and there are 5 to 7 more that are on the docket to be getting introductory lessons over the next 2 weeks. So as I'm filming this, it's August 30th, and we're already at a place where we might be jumping to 10 students in our first month. I really only changed the messaging at the beginning of August. So I spent June and July working on finding the right teacher, having meetings, that sort of thing, making sure that I had some people that I could trust. And then the month of August, I began changing the messaging. And some people I took, people who really fit my program quite well, my group program. And then other people, whether they're adult students who I don't work with, preschoolers who I don't work with, transfers, which I prefer not to work with, or just someone who might need a little bit more individualized attention. Throughout the month of August, I was kind of weeding out students. Now here at the beginning of September, we're getting ready to go. What I promise to you is 2 things. 1, I'm going to keep you updated on this. I'm going to continue filming videos, tell you how it's going, keep you abreast of the enrollment, tell you pitfalls that we've encountered along the way, tell you successes that we've had along the way, just show you how easy it is to get something started if you just have the will to act. The second thing is, I have a blog post coming out in September that's going to completely describe the enrollment process for not the student, but the teacher, how I enrolled teachers into my vision, how I hired teachers, and how I got 2 what I consider to be really great, just out of college teachers that I think are going to be real winners. And I'm going to keep you abreast on that situation too. Also, I want to give a hat tip to a teacher in Oregon, Travis Palladino. That is a person who I interviewed who has a mobile music studio. Their entire studio is virtual. All instruction is delivered in the student's home. There is no location. And I had an hour-long interview with him earlier in the summer that I'm going to be sharing excerpts from, and that this blog post that's coming out is based on a lot of the things that he shared in that interview. So if this is something that you could see, if you have a waiting list and you prefer not to go into group instruction, if you have a waiting list and you're not sure what to do with it, it might be time as a teacher to start giving back and mentoring younger teachers and actually have them start working for you. This blog post will go a long way to showing you how I started this so simply in under 10 hours. And this blog post will also show you the exact steps that I went through to make all this happen. As usual, I'm very excited to share this information with you. I'm very excited to show you the direction that the blog is going to be going over the next 6 to 9 months. And as usual, if you want individualized help and you want powerful, radical transformation in your studio, please reach out to me. I work with many teachers all over the world. I have clients in Sydney, the UK, the Middle East, tons of clients in the United States. Love working with people, love helping people transform their studios and really catapult their business life to new levels. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.